Have you ever dreamed of waking up to your own pond, surrounded by acres of peaceful space? Today, I'll show you a 4.2-acre North Carolina property with a pond and how you can make it yours for less than you think with options like owner financing and USDA loans. So on today's live stream, I'm going to cover our latest 4.2-acre property in North Carolina with a pond. And then we had a question about how you can use USDA loans to purchase a homestead. So I'll cover for about 10 minutes USDA loans, and then we'll go into Q&A for anyone who's here live and has questions. And my team will also be on the chat, so if anyone is joining live, my team might be able to jump in and answer your questions while I'm talking. So first of all, my company is Gokche Capital. Our website's gokchecapital.com. We buy and sell land. And to find all of our properties, if you're on our homepage, just click Buy Land. And you'll see a map with all of our available properties. We do buy and sell properties across the U.S. And today I'm really excited because we just brought back to market, or brought back to for sale by owner, a 4-acre property with a pond in North Carolina. It's a very rare asset, so I'm very excited about it. And because it's now for sale by owner, that does mean that owner financing is available. All right. And good afternoon, Bonnie. Thank you for joining again. I am going to cover USDA loans in a second. All right. So this is property number 703. It's in Nash County, North Carolina. And if we zoom out, Nash County is in kind of central North Carolina, not too far from Raleigh. This is a popular area. It's just outside of the town of Nashville. So this is a little more developed area. It's kind of a suburban feel. You can see there are a lot of homes in this area. And this particular property does have a nice large pond on it for anyone who is looking for a kind of rural suburban lot with a beautiful pond, either for sitting and enjoying, or perhaps stocking for some light fishing as well. And because this is just outside of a town, it does have public utilities. I do always recommend that you contact the county to go over the specifics of how to connect to all of the public utilities, but they are available in this area. And the zoning is agricultural, so that's a very flexible zoning, allowing both residential and agricultural uses. Annual taxes are also very low at the moment, and there is no HOA. Like I said, we're very close to downtown Nashville, so you're not too far from lots of amenities. And we should have nice drone footage of this shortly. So if you're interested in a lot with a pond, keep an eye out for drone footage and nicer photos shortly. And I'll also mention that I'll go over more properties. I'll go over a different property each day on these live streams, but we did bring a number of North Carolina properties back to market as for sale by owner, which means owner financing is available on all of these. The most recent ones are numbers 700 through 704. They're in various counties. And as I said, we do offer owner financing on all the properties that we offer for sale by owner. We will tailor our owner financing terms to what works for you. We want to make sure the property is affordable and is not going to be a huge burden. So if you're interested in owner financing, reach out to us. Let us know what kind of down payment and monthly payment would work for you, and we'll try and work with you on those terms. Okay, reduce the gain to 0. 1 second. Let me fix the settings so there's no hiss. Okay, is that better? Or is it too quiet now? Too quiet or okay? Well, I'll keep talking so we can test it and you can let me know. All right. So speaking of affordable financing options, the last thing I'll say when we're talking about our property is we do have a hold option. So if you look at our main listing page, you'll see that some properties are on hold. When you hold a property, it's taken off market. No one can purchase it while you're doing your due diligence. So all you would have to do to hold any property, let's go back to this one, is click buy or hold on the main listing page. The hold price is $50 for 2 days. At any one time, you can hold for up to 8 days. If you need longer than that, you can do consecutive hold periods. All right. Okay, so speaking of affordable financing, like I said, we do offer owner financing on all of our properties. That's a very affordable option, but there are commercial loans or conventional, well, I shouldn't call them conventional, but there are commercial loans and government loans that are very, very affordable as well. And in some instances, they can even be used to buy land or create a homestead, which was the question I got yesterday on the live stream. And that's why I wanted to cover USDA loans. Now, you may not be aware of this, but there are government loans that are zero down payment loans. So you can see here, no money down, no money down. The USDA is one agency that offers such a loan. And I should clarify that, that there are actually two kinds of government-sponsored loans here. I think in general, when we're talking about government loans, this applies, but definitely for USDA, it applies. There is a loan that is issued directly from USDA. That's called a direct loan. And then there is a loan that is backed by the USDA. That means they're kind of like an insurer for a regular bank. And it's the bank, like Chase, Bank of America, your normal bank, who is actually issuing the loan. That's the guaranteed loan program. There's a lot of similarity between the two programs, but two of the main differences are the income requirements to be eligible and the amount of paperwork, essentially. So a guaranteed loan is going to be a little bit less of a hassle to get. That's why it's, I believe, a little more common, the option that a lot of people go with. Direct loan is going to require a little more paperwork. It's possible it'll take a little bit longer as well. And you can only get it directly through the USDA. So you would have to go to your local USDA office to get it. And it is only available for someone who qualifies as low or very low income by the US government's definition of low or very low income. Whereas the guaranteed loan program goes up to what would be called a moderate income household. So what does that mean? They do have, on the USDA's website, there is a chart that'll show you how much you have to make to be eligible. And it is based on where you live and how large your household is. So is there a particular location anyone would be interested in looking up? Arizona, North Carolina, Colorado? No? All right, well then we can look at Birmingham, Alabama. So you'll see the different definitions here. They have very low income, moderate income, and then these columns are the number of people in the household. So that means the number of people who are living in your house with you. So if you're a two-person household in Birmingham, Alabama, and you want to qualify for the direct loan program, You can't make more than $76,700 for the household. That's the combined income of the two people. If you're doing the guaranteed loan program, which again is a loan that you're getting through a private lender like Chase, yeah, I can go into that in a second. You can go up to almost $120,000 as your combined income. So there is a pretty big difference in the income levels between the two programs. And that's also why the guaranteed loan program is a little more common. And I think like with most government programs, you are submitting things like pay stubs, or if you would be using your proof of Social Security, things like that. So you would need to have So you would need to have a certain number of pay stubs available to provide to them. And the other interesting thing about this program is, while it's often used to buy like a regular home, you can also use it to build. And that would mean you can use it to buy the land and then build on the property. There are less, if we're going with the guaranteed loan, which I'm going to use as the example moving forward, there are less lenders who do what's called a construction loan, but that is an option with the USDA loan. So you can buy the land and then use it to fund the cost of construction. There are going to be, as with any construction loan number, you're going to have to build within a certain timeline. Most lenders will ask for proof that you have, or the credentials of your general contractor, your plans, your budget. So you can't just apply for the loan without having everything planned out. It is something where you're going to have to do the planning for your construction, usually before you go and apply for the loan. And then, so the locations too, I was going to get into that in a second. But yeah, so you can use this loan to construct a home. And it doesn't have to be a stick-built home. Mobile homes, it's called a manufactured home now, but a manufactured home and a modular home is generally eligible as well. So that's, I think, a really important thing to note, is that you could theoretically use one of these programs to buy a parcel of land and put a mobile home on a lot. And it would be for no money down. These loans can also cover certain closing costs as well. So it's possible that you would start with your upfront payment for your new home and land with a loan like this might be only $1,000 or $2,000 to cover some basic closing costs. But the question about where you can use this land. So there are the income requirements, but there are location requirements as well. And they have if you go to the USDA's website, they have a map that you can use. If you plug in an address, you'll see whether that area is eligible. USDA generally is looking at rural areas. So a lot of the time you wouldn't be building in a city. And so you can put in an address, or you can also just zoom in. You'll see where all the areas are. But if anyone has a sample address they want to use, I can plug that in. Houston. But you can check out the eligibility map here. So if there's an area you're interested in, you can put in the address here to see if the land is eligible. They also don't have a size limit, although the purpose of this loan is for a single-family home. So one thing I read is that if you're under 5 acres, you're going to be fine. But once you start getting much larger than that, there might be some question about whether the primary purpose of the land is to live on it or whether it's for some other purpose, because this is essentially a housing program. So they want you to live in the land. And that's an important caveat. This wouldn't be for an investment property or an income producing property. You have to live in the home you're buying or constructing. But having said that, you can use it for a homestead if the primary purpose of the homestead is to live in it and you're kind of growing food to support yourself, but it's not, the purpose isn't to grow food as a commercial venture. And there was a question about interest rates. So I'll open their fact sheet for a second. The interest rate does vary. It's, as it says here, it's negotiated between, so I'm looking at the guaranteed loan program here, which is, again, the program that is a government-backed loan, which means you go to a private lender to get the loan. And in this program, the interest rate is negotiated, so it is going to be based on, your characteristics, your income levels, your credit score. So yeah, they don't have a set interest rate. You would have to discuss with your lender. They do suggest shopping around because, again, this is issued by a private lender. You can go to several different banks and see if different banks will give you a different bank might give you a more favorable interest rate. So you can shop around with this program. But there is no down payment, and it is a fixed 30-year interest rate. So that's important. And let's see, I think my team's answering some of the other questions that came in here. A question about our interest rate with owner financing. And it would be, as my team said, with owner financing, it's also negotiable, but it's based on, kind of what down payment you're willing to make. And is there a time limit to build with this? That I don't know off the top of my head. I can look into it and add and cover that as an addendum tomorrow. But I know that you do need to, if you're getting a construction loan, you do need to build relatively soon after getting the loan. I don't know if it's a year or 18 months, but I can check into that and verify it. All right. So that covers kind of the basics of a USDA loan. It's a really nice option, a very affordable one. And it does let you build a home, and it can be used for a homestead as well, provided, again, that the primary purpose of the homestead is to live in the home, and the growing of crops is kind of adjacent to that primary use of making the home your primary residence. If there are any other questions? Right, and then on owner financing. So a question about, can you wholesale owner finance land? The high-level answer would be no, but if you pay off the loan, then you can go ahead and sell it to whoever you would like. So yeah, but in order to sell the property, you would have to pay off the loan with owner financing. And if there are any other questions, I can cover those. I'm happy if anyone has any suggestions about other topics that they would like me to cover in a future live stream. I'm happy to cover anything that interests the audience. But if not, and yes, my team made an important point with our owner financing, there's no prepayment penalty. That means that you can pay off the loan at any time. So like, for example, say you started buying a parcel of land with owner financing through us, and then you actually got like a loan, like a USDA loan, you could use it to pay off our loan early, and that would save interest. Okay, need to go deeper into USDA loans. I can do a part 2 tomorrow on USDA loans, and we can go even deeper into how they work, especially on the construction side. So I can put that on the agenda for tomorrow, and we can continue this then. Right, and that is also true. All of the properties that we sell are properties that we own ourselves. So that is an important point. We are not realtors. We don't sell properties on behalf of other parties. All right. So I can do a little more research on USDA loans and continue that tomorrow. And then I'll also cover another one of our properties that we have recently brought back to market as for sale by owner. And as always, thank you to everyone who joined today. I hope to see you all tomorrow for more